Hello everybody, good day. This is the solution to Waec 2023 Mathematics Paper, the theory paper. The questions here were gotten from myschool.ng's website. My name is Mui and I'll be walking you through the solution to each question. So let's start. Question 1 is on algebra and 1B is on ratio. 1B is on algebra and 1A is rate question. It's a rate question, but I think everything is just like they're all interconnected: algebra, ratios, and rates. So in question A, we have that a car travels a distance of 112 kilometers at an average speed of 70 kilometers per hour. So in the first part of this journey, okay, of the car's journey, we have a distance. So we can say that our distance is 112 and the speed is 70. Should also always take note of your units. My distance is in kilometers, speed is in kilometers per hour, so my time has to be in hours. Then we're told that it travels a further 60 kilometers at an average speed of, so the second part of the journey, the distance traveled is 60 and the speed is 50 kilometers. Okay, and then we're to calculate the total time taken. So that's actually very easy. So you need to just calculate what the time taken in the first part is and what the time taken in the second part of the journey is. Okay, so from the formula, speed is equal to distance over time. If you rearrange that formula, you know that time is equal to distance over speed. So for the first part of the journey, our time is distance over speed, which is 112 divided by 70. And this will give me 1.6 hours. Okay, and then for the second part of the journey, I have 60 divided by 50, which is 1.2 hours. Okay, so the total time taken is just the sum of those two times. Okay, and that is 1.6 plus 1.2, which will give us 2.8 hours. Okay, so you can leave your answer this way, or you can write it out in hours and minutes. That's 2 hours 48 minutes. Okay, now question B. It's a question on ratio. So we're told that, this is question A, we're told that x divided by y is equal to 2 and y divided by z is equal to 3. Find x plus y divided by y plus z. Okay. So let's do this. So whenever you have a question like this, there are different ways to solve questions like this. Okay, there are so many different ways to solve questions like this, but I will be explaining the easiest or the one that I find easiest. Okay, so one thing I do is to write out this expression here, this expression that we're given, write it out in terms of the ratio you have here. Okay, so one of the ratios given to us is x divided by y. So I can write this x here, okay, in terms of x divided by y. So I just divide each term by y. So divide each term by y. So x divided by y is x over y plus y divided by y is 1, okay, divided by y divided by y again, that is 1, plus z divided by y. So we're given in the question that x divided by y is 2, so you can just substitute that. Go ahead to substitute 2 plus 1 divided by 1 plus. Now z divided by y, we're not given z divided by y. What we're given was y is y divided by z. So you can find the reciprocal. Okay, the reciprocal of y divided by z will give us z divided by y. Okay, they are reciprocals of each other. So y divided by z is 3, and the reciprocal of 3 is 1 over 3. So it means that z divided by y is 1 over 3. Okay, y divided by z is equal to 3, or you can write it as 3 over 1. So when you invert the fractions, z goes up, y comes down, so I have 1 over 3. So I just write it out here, 1 divided by 3. So this would give me 3 divided by 4 over 3. Okay, so that's 9 over 4, which is 2 whole numbers, 1 over 4, or 2.25. So that's one way to solve this kind of questions. There are other ways, but I'll not be explaining those because this is the easiest way to do it. So I basically just divided each variable there, divided it by y. So then I have x over y, which was given as 2. Then I have z over y, which I can find from the reciprocal of y over z. So that's the answer to question 1A and B. Question 2 is a question on algebra, and we're also going to, you need your knowledge of simultaneous equations to solve this. Okay, so A says, in a football match, tickets for children and adults were sold for 3D and 5D respectively. I think that's the currency, so let's just call it naira. 3 naira, 5 naira respectively. So children, the tickets for children is 3. Each ticket for children is 3D. Okay, that's a currency. And then each ticket for adults is 5. Okay, so now if 400 people attended the football match, so 400 people, part of that 400 are children and the other parts adults. So 400 people attended the football match, and 1,700D was collected in ticket sales. So we can say 1,700 naira was the total sales. So total sales is 1,700. Now we're asked how many tickets were sold to adults. So now we're going to have simultaneous equations set up. Okay, so first of all, let's start from the number of people who attended the football match. You know that children and adults both attended the football match. We don't know how many children, neither do we know how many adults, but we can say, since C represents number of children and A represents the number of adults, I can say C plus A is equal to 400. Okay, so the number of children plus the number of adults is equal to the total number of people who attended the football match. So let's make that our equation 1. So for equation 2, we can write that in terms of the total sales. Okay, so C children attended the match, A adults attended the match. So each child paid 3, let's say 3 naira. Okay, so the total number of sales from children will be 3 times the number of children, which is 3C. Okay, so one child would pay 3 naira, and there are C children, so that's a total of 3C. And then for adults, each adult pays 5. Okay, and then there are A adults. We don't know how many adults yet, but we just know that there are A. If we have If maybe 100 adults attended the match, it would be 5 times 500. So they would make 500 naira from the adults alone. So, but then we know that when you add up all the sales from children and sales from adults, we will get 1,700. And let's make that our equation 2. Okay, so this is a system of simultaneous equations. We're to calculate adults. So let's eliminate C. Let's eliminate C. Just multiply equation 1 by 3 and multiply equation 2 by 1. So this will give me 3C plus 3A equals 1,200. Then 3C plus 5A 1,700. So I will subtract my simultaneous equations. 3C minus 3C is 0. 3A minus 5A minus 2A. 1,200 minus this, that's minus 500. So the number of adults that attended the match is 500 divided by minus 2, and that is 250. So 250 tickets were sold to adults because 250 adults attended the football match. Now question B says that if Mr. Johnson sold 250 tickets. He sold 250 tickets. If 175 of the tickets were for adults, how much sales did he make altogether? So let's drag this down. So Mr. Johnson sold 250 tickets. So number of tickets that Mr. Johnson sold is 250. Then we are told that out of those 250, okay, 175 are adults. So it means that the rest will be children, right? The rest will be children. So let's first of all calculate how many children would paid for Mr. Johnson's ticket. That would be 250 minus 175, okay, which is 75. So 75 children paid for Mr. Johnson's ticket. 175 adults paid for Mr. Johnson's ticket. So how much did Mr. Johnson make altogether? Well, we know that the total adults that bought from Mr. Johnson is 175, and the number of children that bought is 75. Each adult would pay 5 naira. Okay, so that's 175 times 5. That's the total amount of money made from adults. Then each child will pay 3 naira rather. That's 175. That's 75 times 3, because we have 75 children. Each of them is paying 3, so that's 75 times 3. So the total sales Mr. Johnson would make will be the sales made from adults plus the sales made from children. 875 plus 225, and that is 1,100 D. Okay, so this is actually an easy one. They are really just testing your knowledge of word problems, how to interpret questions, and of course simultaneous equations. Question 3. In the diagram above, PQR is an equilateral triangle of side 18 centimeters. So it means that line PQ is 18 centimeters, line PR is 18 centimeters, and line QR is also 18 centimeters. Okay, equilateral triangle, all sides are equal. M is the midpoint of QR, so this is point M here. It is the midpoint of QR, that is, it divides QR into 2 equal parts. So when you divide 18 into 2 equal parts, one part will be 9, so this space is 9, QM is 9, QM is 9 centimeters, okay, and then the other part will be 9, so this is also 9 centimeters. MR is 9 centimeters. Now an arc of a circle with center P touches QR at M. So this is the arc AB. Okay, this is the arc of the circle. This is the center of the circle. So if we were to draw the circle, it would look something like this. It would look like this. Okay, that's the center of the circle. This is the radius of the circle. From P to M is the radius, okay, because the radius is from the center of the circle to the circumference, and M is on the circumference, so that's the radius R of the circle. Now, okay, so the arc touches QR at M, and it meets PQ at A, so this is point A here. The arc is point A is also on the circumference, and PR at B, this is point B here, okay. Then calculate to 2 decimal places the area of the shaded region. Oh, wow, area of the shaded region. So this shaded region is inside the triangle, okay. Let's take away that circular part. So we can, let me just take that away. Okay, I'll still show out the radius. So this is the triangle, okay. This is the shaded path. So if we were to find out the area of the shaded part, that would be area of shaded region. That would be the area of the triangle, okay, minus the area of triangle PQR, triangle PQR, minus area of the sector, okay, that sector that has the arc, area of sector what? PAB. Okay, so that's how we know what the area of the shaded region is. So now let's calculate. So you need to know the formulas for area. For PQR is a triangle, so you can use half base times height. So I think it's obvious that we need to calculate the height because we don't know what that is yet, minus the area of the sector PAB. Area of a sector is theta over 360 times pi r squared. So we need to find 3 things now. We need to know what the height of the triangle H is. We also need to know what theta is, okay, that's the angle at which the sector subtends at the center, and then r, the radius. So I think theta is very easy to find. This is theta here. Now this theta is actually one of the angles of an equilateral triangle, of this equilateral triangle that we have, and you know that each angle in an equilateral triangle is 60 degrees because all the angles are equal, okay. So one angle in an equilateral triangle is 60 degrees, so we know that our theta is 60 degrees, okay. So that's that. Then for the height of the triangle, that's the center height, okay, from this P to M, that's the center height. Oh, let's make that more centerish. Oh, this is not particularly straight. Let's just imagine that's a very straight line. So that's a height H, okay, of the triangle, and we can calculate this using Pythagoras theorem. So we're going to have a right angle triangle here. Okay, so this is H, this is 18, that's PR, okay, and then the MR is 9. So H squared is equal to 18 squared minus 9 squared, okay. So H squared is equal to 243, and H is square root of 243. So we already know the height of the triangle, that's the square root of 243. Now finally we need to know the radius of the sector. So the radius of the sector, I can see, you can see that PA, line PA is the radius of the sector, okay, from P to A, that's 1 radii, okay, that's one from the center to the circumference, that's the radius. But the radius is not 18. Remember that it is line PQ that is 18, not line PA. It's the same thing on the other side. Line PB is also the radius from the center to the circumference, but It is not 18 because it is line PR. That is 18, not PB. Okay, you can also go through the center of the circle from the center of P to M. M is on the circumference, so from the center to the circumference, that is also another radius of the circle. And as you can see, it is equal to h. It is equal to h, which is the height of the triangle. So our r is also the square root of 243. Okay, so now that we already have all of the values that we need, let's start solving. The base of the triangle is the line QR, okay, and then line QR is 18 centimeters. So half times 18 times square root of 243 minus 60 degrees divided by 360 times we're giving pi to be 22/7. Always look out for the values of pi given to you, okay? And if you're not given a value for pi, always use 22/7. That's like the recommended value. Then r squared, that's 243 squared. Okay, so let's evaluate this. We're to give our answer, our final answer, to 2 decimal places. So you have to take note of that when you punch in your values to the calculator. So this gave me 140.296 minus okay, so this will give me 127.286. So my final answer, 140.296 minus 127.286. That's 13.01. Okay, the units given to us is centimeters, so this is 13.01 centimeters squared. Our answer is already in 2 decimal places, so you don't need to do any approximations. Okay, so that is that about that. I hope you understand this. Question 4. This is on circle geometry. Many of you do not like circle geometry, and I understand it can be very tricky to understand at first, but the moment you get it, it becomes very sweet to solve. So question A, in the diagram above, PQRS are points on the circle with center K. So you can see that PQRS form a cyclic quadrilateral. What is a cyclic quadrilateral? It is a polygon, okay, with 4 sides, in which each of the vertices are on the circumference of a circle. So what it basically means is that it has 4 sides, okay? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then each of the vertices, these points here, they are on the circumference of the circle. So R is on the circumference of the circle, Q is on the circumference of the circle, P is on the circumference of the circle, S is also on the circumference of the circle. So that's a cyclic quadrilateral. Now the center of the circle here is K, okay? KR is a bisector of angle SRQ. So this is angle SRQ here. This is angle SRQ. Everything there is angle SRQ. So we're told that line KR bisects angle SRQ. What do we mean by bisecting? When we bisect a line or we bisect an angle, we divide it into 2 equal parts. So line KR bisected this angle, that is angle SQR. So it divides this into 2 equal parts. So whatever is here, let's call it X. Okay, let's call that X. Must be equal to whatever is also on the other side, X. Okay, it was divided into 2 equal parts. It was this line that divided into 2 equal parts, so XX on both sides. Then KSP is 41 degrees. It was already labeled on the diagram. And SKR is 80 degrees. Find, question A, find RQP. So this is RQP here. Let's call that Y. Let's call that Y. I'm looking for that RQP. And in question B, we have to find SPQ. SPQ. So this is SPQ here. Let's call this Z. Okay, so now here's the theorem you're going to use. You're going to use one of the circle theorems to solve this, and it is the theorem on cyclic quadrilaterals. And what does that theorem says? It says that opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Okay, so that is when you add up opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral, they must give you 180 degrees, because supplementary angles add up to give 180 degrees. So what this means is that the opposite angles of this quadrilateral are equal. So for example, angle SR cubed plus angle SPQ will give us 90 degrees. Okay, that's what it means to be supplementary. Then SRQ is x plus x, and then SPQ is z, so that will give us 180 degrees. So basically 2x plus z will give us 180 degrees. Okay, then also the other opposite angles, that is PQR and PSR. So angle PQR plus angle PSR will give us 180 degrees. PQR is y plus PSR. So let's look at PSR. What is PSR? So PSR actually consists of two angles. The entire thing here is PSR. Okay, so there are two angles there. You have this 41 degrees, okay, and then you have this other angle here. Now this other angle here is going to be x. Why is it x? It is x because this KS, okay, KS is a radius and KR is a radius. So those two lines, they are equal. Okay, those two lines are equal. So it means that this angle KSR is equal to this angle KRS because they are base angles of an isosceles triangle. Okay, they are base angles of an isosceles triangle. Alright, so that is why it is x. So it means that angle PSR is 41 plus x. 41 plus x is equal to 180 degrees. So we can say that x plus y will be equal to 139 degrees. Okay, now let's continue solving. So question A says we should find angle RQP, that's y. Okay, so we need to find angle y. So we know that if you know what x is, we can find y, okay, because x plus y is 139. So let's find x. We can use that triangle to find x. Okay, we know that that's the sum of angles in a triangle is 180. So 80 degrees plus x is 180 degrees. And when you solve for x will give us 50 degrees. So each of those two angles, those base angles, they are 50 degrees each. Okay, they are both 50 degrees rather. So this is 50 plus y will give us 139. So y is 89. Okay, y is 89 degrees. So that's a solution to question A. Angle RQP, or you can also call it PQR, is 89 degrees. Now for B, we're to find SPQ. What SPQ? Okay, SPQ. Okay, so we know that SPQ is Z, okay, and then we have here that 2x plus Z is equal to 180 degrees. So we know that x is 50. So 2 times 50, 100 plus z is equal to 180 degrees, and so z is 80 degrees. So that is how to solve this question. It's easy for me because I'm used to solving circle geometry questions. It might be a bit difficult, but you can always practice more questions so you can understand circle geometry and its theorems better. Question 5 is on angles of elevation and depression. Whenever you solve questions on this topic, please always try to illustrate the information in the diagram, even if you're not told to. Okay, in this question, you're actually instructed to illustrate the information on a diagram. That is question A. But even if you're not told to do so, please always try to. It makes solving it easier. So now we're told that a boy stands at a point M. Let's call this random point M. Now M is on the same horizontal level as the foot T of a vertical building. So on the same horizontal level, that's a horizontal line. Okay, and this is T here. So T is the foot of the building. Let's draw the building, or rather sketch the building. So the building can be this tall. Okay, alright, so that is our building, and that's T, which is the foot of the building. So now we're told that he observes an object at the top P. So the top of the building is P. This point here is P. At an angle of elevation 66 degrees. So the angle of elevation there is 66 degrees. So you can just use dashed lines. Okay, don't use a straight line to do this. Just dashed lines to illustrate your angle of elevation. And that is 66 degrees. He moves directly backward to a new point C. So it was at point M before, then he moved backward to point C. Let's just continue backward. And observes the same object at an angle of 53 degrees. So this is point C. Okay, and it observes that same object that is at point P at an angle of 53 degrees. So you have something like this. Okay, so that angle is 53. If MT is equal to 50 meters, so MT is 50 meters. A, illustrate the information in a diagram. So we already done question A. B says we should calculate to 1 decimal place. Correct to 1 decimal place the height of the building. So let's call the height of the building H. Okay, so this is how tall the building is, and that is H from P to T. Okay, that's H. PT is the height of the building. That's H. So we can find H using one of the trigonometric ratios. You can see that we have a triangle here, triangle PTM. Okay, so this is P, this is T, this is M. MT is 50. This is our height H. This will be a 90-degree angle, and this is 66 degrees. So we're going to use tan because H here is opposite to this angle, and 50 meters here. This MT, it is adjacent to the angle, so opposite adjacent, we use tan adjacent. Okay, so tan 66 is equal to, our opposite side is H divided by adjacent is 50. So the height of the building is equal to 50 multiplied by tan 66. Okay, so that's 50 times 66. That is 102.3. I should correct it to 1 decimal place, so that's 112.3 meters. Okay, so for question BII, this is BI. What to calculate and correct to 1 decimal place line MC. So this is line MC here. Let's call that X. Okay, so we don't know what line MC is. Well, if we know what line CT, okay, from here to here, if we know what CT is, we can find MC because we know that this place is 50 meters. Okay, M to T here is 50 meters. So if we know what CT is, we can find MT. So we know that question B, I. We know that MT plus MC is equal to CT. Okay, so if we can find CT, we would know, let's call CT Y, let's call that Y. Okay, we would know what our MC is. So let's draw a triangle. There's another triangle we can use for that. So we're also going to use a trigonometric ratio to solve this. Our triangle is much bigger. That's a bigger triangle in the diagram. Okay, so this is C, this is T, this is the top of the building, P. We know that the height of the building is H. Okay, this is 53 degrees. So this is what we're looking for, CT, and that's why. Yep. So we can use what trigonometric ratio do we use? We also use tan. Tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Okay, so tan 53, our opposite side is the height of the building, our adjacent side is line CT. So we know that y, which is line CT, h over tan 55. What is h? That's the height of the building. Okay, we calculated it to be 112.3, but I don't want to use that value. Let's use 50 times 60 instead. Okay, if we use 50 times 60, you're going to get a more accurate value. That 112.3, it was already approximated, so you should not use that because your answer might not be entirely accurate. Okay, so this is 50 times 66 divided by tan 53. That's 84.63. So we already know what our CT is. That's 84.63. So x is equal to y minus 50. That is 84.63 minus 50, 34.63. So it means that our line C or MC is equal to 34.63. We have to leave it to one decimal place, so that's 34.6 meters. I hope that is clear enough. Angles of elevation and depression. Question 6 is on probability, that's 6A, and 6B is on ratios and proportion. Okay, let's look at it. Question A says M is a set. You can see the curly brackets there. That just tells that they're about to list out the elements of a set. So inside this set, each element is n, okay, and n is defined as 2n minus 3 is less than or equal to 37. That's what this expression means, okay? N is defined as 2n minus 3 is less than or equal to 37. So let's actually find out what n is. 2n is less than or equal to 37 plus 3. 2n is less than or equal to 40. So it means that n is less than or equal to 40 over 2. N is less than. So inside that set, okay, where n is a counting number, so n is a number that we count, that is an integer. So n is less than or equal to 20. So it's a positive integer, by the way. So because you can only count positive numbers on your fingers, something like that. So if we were to write out the elements in this set m, n is less than or equal to 20. So you start from 1, 2, 3. You'll be expected to write out all the values, but I don't have that time, so 20. Let me just write 19, 20. So those are all the numbers in the set. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 20. 20 is included because you have less than or equal to. So okay, AI says we should write down all the elements of M. Okay, so I think you should write everything else then. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so those are all the numbers in set M. Then question 2 says, if a number is selected at random, so we're really looking at probability. If a number is selected at random, find the probability that it is a, first of all, alpha. Okay, question alpha, it is a multiple of 3. Multiple of 3. So basically, the probability that a number selected at random is a multiple of 3. You need to know which numbers here are multiples of 3. Okay, you need to know the number. So probability that a particular number is a multiple of 3, that is equal to the number of numbers that are multiple of 3 divided by the total number of numbers. So let's look for multiples of 3. Multiples of 3 in this our set M. Okay, what are the multiples of 3? So 3 is a multiple of 3. Okay, 6 is also a multiple. 9 is a multiple of 3. 12 is a multiple of 3. 15 and 18. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. That is 6 numbers. So we have 6 numbers that are multiples of 3. Okay, then divided by the total number of numbers. What's the total number of numbers? That's from 1 to 20. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 20 numbers. So we have 20 numbers there. 6 out of those 20 numbers are multiples of 3. Okay, so the probability is 6 over 20, which is 3 over 10, and that's 0.3. Okay, then beta says we should find the probability that it is a factor of 10. So what are the factors of 10 that are in this set? Okay, what are the factors of 10 that are in our set M? So we have 1 is a factor of 10. We have 2. Okay, 10 is divisible by 2. We have 5. 10 is also divisible by 5, and we have 10. Okay, so 20 is not included. 20 is not included because 20 is not a factor of 10. It is rather a multiple of 10. So how many numbers are this? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 numbers, and the total is 20. So that's 4 divided by 20, which is equal to 0.2. So that's the solution to question A. Question B. Okay, let's read out the question. I don't know, I have this habit of solving a question as I'm reading it, but I think it's better to read your question than start solving. A shop owner gave an end of year bonus to 2 of his attendees, Contour and Gapson, in the ratio of their ages. So Contour ratio Gapson, okay, is in the ratio of their ages, but we don't know their ages yet. Okay, so we're told that Gapson's age is 1.5 times that of Contour, who is 20 years old. Okay, so good. Contour is 20 years old. Okay, and Gapson is 1.5 times of that. So it means that Gapson's age will be 1.5 times. So that's 1.5 is 1.5. Okay, 1.5 times 20, which is 30. So Gapson is 30 years old. Contour is 20 years old. So we have 20 ratio 30. So that's the ratio. Okay, but if you have to simplify your ratios. So we have K ratio G is equal to 2 ratio 3. Ratios are fractions. So 20 ratio 30 is 20 divided by 30, and that's 2 ratio 3. Then if Contour received 200,000, oh, I don't know what that currency is, but 200,000 of that currency, the first question says we should find the total amount shared. All right, good. So first of all, you need to know what the total ratio is. What's the total ratio? That's 2 plus 3, and that is 5. So the total amount shared, we don't know. So let's the total amount be X. Okay, so Contour received 200,000. It means that Contour's share Contour's share is, okay, so in the ratio, the number that corresponds to contour is 2, okay, and the total ratio is 5. So contour's share is 2 over 5 times x. Okay, so because x is the total amount that is shared, so that's 2 over 5x. And then contour received 200,000, so it means that 200,000 is equal to 2 over 5x. What is our x? So x will be 200 times 5 divided by 2. So that's x is 500,000 of that currency. Okay, so contour received 500,000. Then find Gabson's share. So if the total amount that is shared is 500,000, okay, Gabson's share, and then contour received 200,000. So you can use ratios to solve it, but a faster way is to just subtract contour's share from the total amount shared. So that is 300,000. Okay, so that's how to solve question B. Question 7, it's on algebra. That's question A. There is from algebra, and then B is coordinate geometry. So question A says we should find the sum of 3 numbers is 81, 3 random numbers. So let's say our numbers are x, y, and z. When you add the 3 numbers up, you have 21. The second number is twice the first. This is the second number, y. Okay, it is twice the first. That is, it is 2 times the first number. So that's 2 times x, 2x. Given that the third number is 6 more than the second, so our third number is z, it is 6 more than the second. That is, it is greater than the second number by 6. So you add 6 to the second number, which is y. Okay, so z is this expression or equation here just means z is 6 more than y. That is, for you to get z, you have to add 6 to y. Find the numbers. Okay, so since we know what y is, we know that y is 2x. So it means that our z is 6 plus 2x. Okay, so we have an expression for z and we have an expression for y. Let us substitute these expressions into the original equation that we have. So x plus y, that is x plus 2x, because y is 2x, and then plus z is what? 6 plus 2x is equal to 81. So 5x plus 6 is 81. 5x is 75, and x is 75 divided by 5, that's 15. Okay, so we're told to find the numbers, and we already know x, so it means that y is 2x, which is 2 times 15. Y is 30. And what is z? Z is 6 plus y. Okay, that's 6 plus 13, and that is 36. So those are the numbers: 15, 30, and 36. B. Question B. Give me the points P and Q on the Cartesian plane such that R is the midpoint of PQ. So let's visualize this. Point P, point Q. We're told that R is the midpoint, so that is R is at the center or the middle, and the coordinates of y are x, y. Find the equation of the line that passes through R and it is perpendicular to PQ. So the line will pass through this point R and the line is perpendicular to PQ. So let's just draw. Let me show you what a line that's perpendicular to PQ would look like. Okay, so it's passing through R. It has to pass through that point R. Okay, and it's perpendicular to, that is, it would intersect PQ and give you 90 degrees. That's what it means by this. So this is the line here, this blue line. Let me extend it. Okay, so that's the line. That's the line we're looking for. Let's call this line L. Okay, so to find the equation of that line L. Okay, so first of all, you need to know, you need two things to be able to find the equation of a line. You need to know the gradient of the line, and you need to know one point, the coordinate of a point that passes through that is on the line. Okay, the coordinate of a point that is on the line. So for example, this point R, it is on this blue line. Okay, point R is on the blue line. It is also on line PQ. So if we know the coordinate of point R and we know the gradient of this blue line, we can find the equation of the line. So let's start by finding the coordinates of, or should we start by finding the gradient? Let's start with the gradient. I think you guys should know the law of perpendicularity. When you have two perpendicular lines, okay, in coordinate geometry, when you have two perpendicular lines, their gradients, when you multiply their gradients, gradient m1 times m2 is equal to -1. Okay, that is when two lines are perpendicular. So line PQ and the line L, they are perpendicular. So when you multiply their gradients, it is equal to -1. So let's first of all find the gradient of PQ. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 can be any of the y values. Okay, so that's 7 minus 5 over x2 is -5, and then x1 is 3. So this will give me 2 divided by -8, and that is -1 over 4. So our m1, which is the gradient of this line PQ, is -1 over 4. Okay, so we can find our m2. M2 is the gradient of the line that we're actually looking for, and that is -1 divided by m1, -1 divided by -1 over 4, and that is 4. So it means that the gradient of this line L is 4. Okay, gradient of line L is 4. So we already have the gradient. Now let's look for a point that passes through it. That point is point R. We're told that R is the midpoint of line PQ. So how do you find the midpoint of a line? There's a formula for that. Okay, so the midpoint of the line R is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2. Okay, so my x1 here is 3. So I have 3 plus x2 is -5 over 2, comma my y1 is 5. Sorry, and then my y2 is 7. Okay, so when we evaluate this, R is equal to 3 plus -5 is -2. -2 divided by 2 is -1. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, so these are the coordinates of point R. Okay, so now we have a gradient of the line, which is 4. We have a point that passes through it, so we can find the equation. So there is also a formula for that. That's why I love math. You know, in many cases, there is always a formula you can work with. So our formula here is y minus y1 is equal to the gradient into bracket x minus x1. Okay, so our x1 is this point that passes through the line. Okay, is the x coordinate of the point that passes through the line. Our y1 is the y coordinate of the point. The gradient is 4. We calculated the gradient to be 4. So we have okay, so x minus -1, that is x plus 1, y minus 6 is equal to 4 into bracket x plus 1. Y minus 6 is 4x plus 4, and if you rearrange your equation, y is equal to 4x plus 10. So that's the equation of the line we're asked to find. So yeah, that's that. Question 7. Question 8. A question on quadratic graphs. Okay, so for this question, I could not plot the exact graph, okay? But what I have is very similar to what you'll be expected to draw. So don't worry, we'll still be able to solve the question. So let's start by copying the table and completing it. The range of values of x is from -3 to 3. Okay, so the equation of the curve is y is equal to 2x squared minus x minus 4. So when x is equal to 2, or when x is minus 2, y is 2 into bracket minus 2 squared minus 2 minus 4. That's 8 plus 4 minus 4. And that is 8. Sorry, 8 plus 2 minus 4, and that's 6. So this value here is 6. So that's the same thing. That's what you repeat, you do for every value. So I will just complete that myself. Okay, if we were to do it for when x is equal to 1, for example, y is 2 into bracket 1 squared minus 1 minus 4. That is 2 minus 1 minus 4, 2 minus 5, and that's minus 3. Okay, so you repeat the same for every other value of x. So this is our complete table. So this is the table these are the points you would use to plot your graph. You are told to use a scale of 2 centimeters to 1 unit on the x-axis. For every, you have your graph sheet this way. So for every 2 centimeters, you can use a ruler to measure 2 centimeters. But on your graph, it's usually like 10 small boxes. For every 10 tiny boxes, you have 1 unit. The next 10 boxes, 2 units. The next 10 boxes, 3. You have 3. Okay? And so on and so forth. But you have to stop your graph at 3, so you stop there. On the other side too, for every 10 small boxes, you have -1, -2, -3. And then for your y-axis, you are told to use a scale of 2 centimeters to 2 units. Y. So for every 10 tiny boxes, you have 2. Count another 10 tiny boxes. The next number will be 4. the next number there will be 6, and so on and so forth. So here we have minus 2, count small tiny boxes, minus 4, minus 6, and so on and so forth. And then when you plot all of your points, you draw your curve. Okay, you can join your curve with a French curve, a flexible ruler, a piece of broom, or you can use your hand if you're very good at doing it. So that would be question B. So I have a graph here, not exactly the graph you'll be expected to see, but it's very similar. You can see that my 2 centimeters to 1 unit. So for every 10 small boxes, this is 1 box, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can say this is 1. Another 10 small boxes, the next number there is 2. Another 10 small boxes, the next number there is 3. Okay, the same thing on the left hand side. Therefore, y, for every 10 boxes you have 2. Another 10 boxes, the next number there will be 4. But you can see that my graph did not show that. That is why I told you my graph is not complete. I didn't show some values of y. Okay, but you can see that in the lower part you have minus 2. Then the next 10 boxes you have minus 4. Then and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is my graph, and this is what I would use to explain the questions. So CI says that we should use the graph to find the roots of the equation. So the roots of the equation are just the points where the graph intersects the x-axis, where the graph intersects the x-axis. So this is our graph. Okay, these are the points where it intersects the x-axis. So these points here and this other point here. So after reading the values on my graph, so for example, this one looks like, if this is minus 1, the next point will be minus 1.1, the next point will be minus 1.2. So one of the values is minus 1.2. Then for this side, this is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. So this point will be 1.7. Okay, so my two values of x that are the roots of the equation, that's minus 1.2 and minus 1.7. So in the exam, on your graph sheet, what you can do, you can just like circle that point. Okay, circle the point, this point here, and label it that it is minus 1.2. Circle the other point and label it that it is my 1.7. So my two values of x, minus 1.2 and 1.7. So actually, when I actually solved this quadratic equation, the values I got were not exactly these values. I got minus 1.19 and I got 1.69, because you can see from the graph that it wasn't exactly minus 1.2, it wasn't exactly 1.7. But in your exam, you will not be required to put it this way. Okay, on your graph, what you can read is minus 1.2. You cannot see the 1.19. Okay, you cannot see 1.69 because your graph is 2 centimeter to 1 unit, so you can only put 1.2, 1.7. But don't worry, these are the correct answers in the Waec mark scheme, and they're even very, very close to the actual answers. Okay, 1.69 is approximately 1.7. II says we should find the values of x for which y increases as x increases. Okay, so this would be in form of an inequality. Okay, in form of an inequality. So you want the values for which y increases as x increases. So you have to go to the lowest point of the graph. Okay, I think this is the lowest point of the graph. You can trace that to your x-axis and try to find what the x value will be. Okay, so try to find what the x value. This is 0.1, 0.2. Okay, so it's not on 0.2, it's not on 0.3, so it's about 0.25. So just write that down, 0.25 less than x, and then the other point there will be remember that you are given a range of values of x. You are given range of values of x. Okay, your question says your x should be from -3 and your x should stop at 3. So it means you can't keep going. Okay, the highest value that you can get to is 3. So now let me now explain what this means. It means that from this point here, okay, as x is increasing, y is increasing. That is, this is 0.25, right? Okay, so the next value of, and at that point y is like -4 point something. Let's say the next value of x, let's say when x is 1, consider it has increased from 0.25 to 1. At that point y is -3, y has also increased, okay, because -3 is bigger than -4. So when when x is 2, okay, you can see that y is now 2 also on this side. So you can see that that's even a bigger increase. Okay, that's a greater increase. So as x is increasing, as x is increasing by each unit, y is also increasing. That's what it means, that as x increases, y increases. Okay, but the reason why we cannot use the other end here, because on the other end, as x is increasing, y is decreasing. So when x was at this point here, y was 2. Okay, then when that point is 1.5, then when x reduced to -1, when x increased, because this is -1.5 and this is -1, that's an increase, because -1 is bigger than -1.5. So when x increased to -1, y reduced to -1. Okay, this is -1 here on the y axis. When x increased to -0.5, y reduced to -3. Okay, when x increased to 0, y reduced to -4. Okay, so y keeps reducing, it keeps decreasing. So as x was increasing on this other part of the graph, y was decreasing. As x was increasing, y was decreasing. But on the other side of the graph, as x was increasing, y was also increasing. Okay, so this is the answer. Then the last question says we should use the graph to find the minimum point of y. So the minimum point of the graph, okay, and they ask you for the minimum point. So you need the x coordinates, you need the y coordinates of the minimum point. So what's the x coordinates? Again, you go to the minimum point of your graph, and I already have my own x coordinates here. That is 0.25. Okay, that's the x coordinates. Then you go to the y-axis to find your y coordinates. So if I trace this value to the y coordinates, this is about -4.1. It is not exactly 4.1, but you cannot read the values, the value at that exact point. So you can just make it -4.1. So if you check your math scheme, okay, I don't think you guys have access to the Waec math scheme, but when I checked it, I think -4.1 was accepted. Okay, accepted. In fact, this 0.25, you can write it as 0.3. That would also be accepted, any of them. Okay, there's always a range of values that will be accepted by the mark scheme. Just ensure that your graph is as accurate as possible, because if your graph is not accurate and your value is entirely out of the range that they accept, then it will not be scored right. So that's the graph. Question 9 is on mensuration and coordinate geometry. So 9A is on mensuration, 9B is on coordinate geometry. So I have this diagram here. In the diagram above, the radius of the sector of circle center O. So we have this center O, this is center O here, and then the sector is, I think, sector OPM. So this is OPM. So that's the sector, and that's center O. So the radius of that sector is 7 centimeters. You can see 7 centimeters here. So it means that OM is also 7 centimeters. Okay, OM is also 7 centimeters, because that's also one of the radii of that sector or of that circle. ON is also 7 centimeters. Okay, ON is also 7 centimeters. But it's also one of the radii. Okay, because remember that your radius starts from the center to the circumference. So center to circumference. So angle MON is 60 degrees. You can see it's there. Find correct to one decimal place the area of the shaded region. Okay. So if you want to find the area of the shaded region, let's solve that. Area of shaded region. Okay, so start from what's the shape there that's like the biggest there. Okay, the outer one, that's the sector. So we need to find the area of sector OPM. Okay, so that's this one here. Okay, you guys know what OPM is. That's OPM. Then once we find that, you can subtract the area of this other sector here, sector OPN. Okay, subtract the area of that sector and then subtract the area of this triangle. Okay, and then the only thing left will be the shaded region. So we are subtracting two areas, the area of sector OPN and then the area of triangle ONT. Okay, so now what are their areas? For the sector OPN, it is theta over 360 times by r squared minus, for sector OPN, it is theta over 360. The theta is not the same thing, okay? The angle for sector OPN is not the same angle with the other one. So don't let me use theta. Let's use alpha. Okay, the reason why I'm using alpha is because they are not the same angle. Then minus the area of triangle orient, that'll be half base times height. Okay, all right, so let's start solving. We need to know what these thetas, all the variables, we need to know what they are. So theta in the sector OPM, that's the bigger sector. Okay, that's the bigger sector, this OPM. So the theta there, that's the angle subtended at the center. That will be this point here, and you can see that it is obviously 90 degrees. Okay, it's a right angle, it is obviously 90 degrees. So it means that theta is 90 degrees. So you can say theta is 90. Then r is the radius. Okay, r is the radius, and that's we're already given to be 7 centimeters initially. Then for the other sector, its own angle is alpha, and this will be the angle here. Okay, this angle here, that's alpha. So how can you find alpha? Well, you know that the total angle here is 90 degrees. You know that the total angle there is 90, and then this point here is 60 degrees. So it means that your alpha is 90 minus 60. That's 30 degrees. Okay, and again, the radius of this other sector is also 7 centimeters. You can see it here. OPON. The radius is the radii, yeah, 7 centimeters. Then the base of the triangle, we don't know. The height of the triangle, we also do not know. But we can use Pythagoras theorem to solve for the base and the height of the triangle. So let's quickly do that. So this is 7 centimeters. This is 60 degrees. Okay, this is the height, this is the base. So we can use for the base, we can use cosine. Okay, cos 60 degrees is equal to adjacent, that's b, divided by hypotenuse, which is 7. So b is 7 cos 60 degrees. That's 3.5 centimeters. Then for the height, we can use sine. sine 60 degrees is equal to the opposite side, which is h, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 7. So h is 7 sine 60 degrees, and that is 3.5 root 3 centimeters. So now we have everything that we need to solve this question. Let's start. Theta over 360, that's 90 over 360. Pi is giving us 22 over 7. R is 7. Minus our alpha here is 30. 22 over 7. 7 square. Minus 1 over 2. B is 3.5. H is 3.5 root 3. Alright. So we have to calculate the area of the shaded portion to 1 decimal place. So when I want to give my answers of each of these areas, I won't use 1 decimal place, okay? This one is 38.5, 0, minus 12.83 minus 10.61. Okay, so that gave me 15.06 centimeters squared, which is approximately 15.1 centimeter, because we have to give it to 1 decimal place. Okay, so that's the answer to this question. Oh wait, we have not done question B. Okay. Oh, by the way, something I failed to mention is that in your theory paper, the first 5 questions, okay, the first 5 questions that we solved, they are compulsory. Each of them carries 8 marks, so that's a total of 40 marks, okay? Then the next 8 questions, you have to select 5, okay? Select any 5 that you want to solve. Each of those 5 is 12 marks, so that's a total of 60 marks. So everything in your math paper is 100 marks. So all these questions I've been doing from this is question 8. So question 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, they are not compulsory. You have to choose just 5. Okay? So I always advise to go through each of those questions and select the ones that you feel you can solve and easily get the answers correct. Okay? The x and y intercepts of a straight line are minus 3 over 4 and 2 over 7 respectively. Find the equation of the line. Okay, so to find the equation of this particular line, we're not going to use the other formula I used earlier. We're going to use y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so m is the gradient of the line and c is the y-intercept. So I think in the question we're already given the y-intercept, so let's just write y is equal to mx plus, what's the y-intercept we're given? 2 over 7. 2 over 7. Okay, so we're almost done. The only thing we need to find now is the gradient of the line, and then you can use your x-intercept to find that. So we're told that the x-intercept is minus 3 over 4. What is an x-intercept? Okay, the line intercepts the x-axis at the point when y is equal to 0. So your x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. So when y is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 3 over 4. Okay, so that is our x-intercept. So let's substitute these values into this equation. So y is 0, we have m, then minus 3 over 4 plus 2 over 7. So we're looking for m. Okay, it's the gradient we're trying to find. When you cross multiply, minus 2 times 4 is minus 8, minus 3m times 7, minus 21m, and then divide both sides by minus 21. So your m is 8 over 21. So this value of m that we have, we can substitute it back into this equation. Okay, so our equation is y is equal to 8 over 21x plus 2 over 7. You can leave your answer this way, or you can multiply everything by 21, so you can get integer coefficients. Okay, so that is that for this second question. It's actually very easy. Okay, all you need to know is that your x-intercept is when y is 0. So when y is 0, x is minus 3 over 4. And it's the same thing for the y-intercept, okay? The y-intercept is when x is 0. So when x is 0, y is 2 over 7. Those are your intercept. Let me even show you what your intercept would look like on the graph. Our graph here would look our line here, these are the axes, okay? Your line would look like this, something like this. So this is what the line would look like. This is what your line would look like. So the y-intercept is this point where it crosses the y-axis. This point here, that gives us 2 over 7. And the x-axis is this point where it crosses the x-axis, and that was minus 3 over 4. Okay, so those are your intercepts. Those are your intercepts. Question 10. Statistics. Oof. All right, whenever you're solving questions like this, questions where you have to find mean, standard deviation, variance, mean deviation, always draw a table. Okay, always draw a table. Tabulate whatever you're doing. Alright, so this is x. X there will be the heights, okay? So because the table shows the height of trees harvested by a farmer. So each height is different. So those are our x values: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then f is the frequency, which is the number of trees. So 4 trees have a height of 3 meters, 6 trees have a height of 4 meters, 4 trees have a height of 5 meters, 5 trees have a height of 6 meters, 6 have a height of 7 meters, and 2 have a height of 8 meters. So we have to first of all find the median height. So in order to find your median, you need something called the cumulative frequency. Okay, so when you're calculating your cumulative frequency, start with this first one, that is 4. Then 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay, 10 plus 4 is 14, 14 plus 5 19, 19 plus 6 is 25, 25 plus 2 is 27. So 27 is the last number, meaning that when you add up your number of trees, you must get 27. This number of trees is called summation f. Okay, so 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 2 must give you 27. Okay, so that's your cumulative frequency. Now for our median, you guys know the formula for median. You probably know the formula for median. You know median to be n over 2 value if n is even. Okay, so n here is the number of trees that we have. So our number of trees, our total number of trees is 27. So our n is not even. Our n is an odd number. So this is the formula we use if n is odd. So that is what? 27 plus 1 divided by 2 value. and that is 27 plus 1 is 28. 28 divided by 2, that's the 14th value. Okay, the 14th value. So you go to where you have your cumulative frequency and look for where you have 14. So the here is 14. Then trace it to the value of x. Ooh, so that's 5. So our median is 5 meters. The median height is 5 meters. Now, question B says we should calculate correct one decimal place, the mean and the standard deviation. So let's start with the mean. Mean is represented with x bar. Okay, x bar, and that's equal to, the formula is summation fx divided by summation f, and that's equal to, you need to find what fx is, that is frequency times x. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 6 is 24, 5 times 4 is 20, 6 times 5 is 30, 42, 16. And you also need to know what summation fx is, that is you have to add up everything you have there. So that will give us 144. Now, so it means that your mean is equal to 144 divided by 27, and that's 16 divided by 3, which is approximately 5. That's 5.33333. So that's 5.3 to 1 decimal place. Then standard deviation. There are 2 formulas for standard deviation. I'm going to use the one that is more convenient for me, which is the square root of summation fx squared divided by summation f. These formulas are in your 4-figured tables. Of course, you should know what your mean is offhand, okay? But for the standard deviation, especially if your exam is not so far away, you don't need to cram it. Just ensure you know where it is in your 4-figured table, so during the exam you don't have to start like doing the search for all that. So we need to know what summation fx squared is. So fx squared, that is you square the value of x, then multiply it by f. So 3 square is 9, 9 times 4, 36. 4 square is 16, 16 times 6, 16 times 6, that's 96. 5 square is 25, 25 times 4 is 100. 6 square is 36, 36 times 5 is 180. 7 square is 49, 49 times 6 is 294. 8 square is 64, 64 times 2 is 128. Okay, and you need to add up all the numbers. You need to add up all the numbers to give summation fx squared. So when you add up all the numbers, that is 36 plus 96 plus 100 plus 180 plus 294 plus 128, that will give me 834. So summation fx squared is 834 divided by summation f is 27 minus summation fx is 144 divided by summation f is also 27 squared, and don't forget your square root sign. So this will be equal to square root of 22 over 9, and that is approximately 1.6. Okay, so I hope that is understood. Some other measures that you might want to learn, like your mean deviation, your variance. Well, variance is easy. Okay, variance is basically, formula for variance is basically what you have here but without the square root. Okay, without the square root, because standard deviation is the square root of variance. So that's question 10. 11. Bearings. This bearing question, oof, it is well. Bearings are known for always being in your theory paper. So if you do not fully understand bearing, please learn it before your exam, because I am certain you would find it in the theory section. Alright, so we're told that in a town, and remember to always illustrate whatever information you're given in a diagram, okay? Even if you're not told, for bearings, you are expected, in your syllabus, it is expected you draw diagrams. If you don't draw diagrams, they won't give you marks for that, okay? In a town, Chief X resides 60 meters away on a bearing of 57 degrees from Palace P. From Palace P, meaning we're starting our measurement from Palace P. So let's draw the 4 cardinal points for Palace P. So this is Palace P. Okay? Chief X is 60 meters away on a bearing of 57 degrees. So 60 meters, let's draw a bearing of 57 degrees. Okay, so let's say this is 0, 5, 7 degrees, and then 60 meters away. So your line should be about 60 meters long. It doesn't have to be accurate, just give reasonable lengths. Okay, your line should be reasonable. Okay, so that is where Chief X lives. This point here is where Chief X lives. So draw the cardinal points for Chief X. This is where Chief X lives. Then Chief Y resides on a bearing of 150 degrees from the same Palace P. Okay, so bearing of 150 degrees from Palace P. So measure 150 degrees. So this point here is 90, okay? So you need extra 60 to get to 150 degrees. So 150 degrees is from here to somewhere around here. That's 150 degrees. So let's draw the line. That's 150 degrees. Okay, hold on. So the green angle there is 150 degrees. This green angle here, that's 150 degrees. So whatever you have left here, this little one here will be 30 degrees. Why is it 30 degrees? Because the entire angle from the north to the south, this is the north, by the way, this is the south. The entire angle from the north to the south is 180. So if from here to here is 150, then the rest is 180 minus 150, and that's 30. Okay? So it's also similar to this point here. This point here will be 33 degrees. Why is it so? Because from the north here to the east is 90 degrees. Okay? And then you have 57 degrees here. This is 57. From here to here is 57. So the rest will be what? 90 minus 57. And that's 33 degrees. Okay, so now let's finish up the question. The residents of X and Y are 180 meters apart. So that is, Chief Y is living 180 meters from Chief X. So this is where Chief Y lives. Let me just... Okay, this is where Chief Y lives. Chief Y, let's draw its own 4 cardinal points. Okay, so Chief X and Chief Y, they live 180 meters apart. Ooh, it's my line. It's quite... Okay. So that's 180 meters. Okay, let me just quickly adjust this diagram. Oh, by the way, your diagram does not have to be like perfect or very accurate, okay? But for the sake of teaching, I would like it to be as accurate as possible. Okay, so this is it. Now, question B says, so this is just question A. Everything we just did is question A, so it was worth the stress, I guess. You will get marks for that. Question B, find correct to three significant figures, the bearing of x from y. So I says bearing of x from y. So let's go to our diagram and see what that is. So you're going to measure it from point y, because I said from y. So you're measuring from y here. So the bearing of x from y, this is line x. Remember that you start measuring bearings from the north, okay, from the north. So this is line x. That means you're going from this point here round and touching that line x. So now what are the angles? What are the angles present here? Well, this is 90 degrees. This is 180 degrees here. This is 270 degrees. So you know that part of that bearing is already 270 degrees. Okay? Plus, what else do we add? We have to add the angle here. What is that angle? We can find it from this place here. So it's quite difficult to explain. But then we can use the idea of alternate angles. So if this place here is 30 degrees, it means that this place here will also be 30. Okay, this one here is 30 degrees. So this other point here will be 90 minus 30, and that's 60 degrees. So that green, this side here is 60 degrees. Okay, so that's the idea of alternate angles. So that green part is 60. This is 60 degrees here. So 240 plus 60 degrees plus this angle here. Let's call it theta. So that angle theta, okay, that's the angle at this point y. So that is the bearing of x from y. So the bearing of x from y is 270 degrees plus 60 degrees plus theta. So we need to find what that theta is. Okay, we need to know what theta is, and you can see that theta is the angle here. This angle, that's theta. We can use sine rule to find the angle theta, but we need other angles first. We need to know what other angles are. Let's come here. This point here is 63. You know that this point here will be 60 degrees. Why is it 60? Because this place is 30, so this other point here will be 60. That's 90 minus 30, which is 60. So the total angle at this point there will be 33 plus 60, that's 93. So this total angle here is 93 degrees. Okay, so we can solve for theta using sine rule. What does sine rule state? It states that sine p over line p is equal to sine y over line y. So what is P? Angle P is 93 degrees in the triangle, by the way. We're looking at the triangle now. Okay, that's 93 degrees. Then line P is the side that is opposite that angle. Okay, that's 180 degrees. Sorry, that's 180 meters. XY is 180 meters. Is equal to sine Y. What's our angle? Y, that's theta. Then divided by line Y, that's the side that is opposite theta. And what's that side? That's 60 meters. So it means that sine theta is 60 times sine 93 divided by sine 180. So sine theta is divided by 180, not sine 180. So this is sine 93 divided by 180 times 16. That's 0.3329. So it means that our theta is arc sine 0.3329. That's 19.4. Okay, 19.4 degrees. So it means that the bearing of x from y, okay, that's 270 degrees plus 60 degrees plus 19.4 degrees, and that will give us 349.4 degrees. So they told us to leave our answer to 3 significant figures. That's 349 to 3 significant figures. Okay, so that's the bearing of x from y, 349 degrees. Then the second part of the question said we should find the distance between P and Y. What's that distance? That's this place here. Let's call it x. Okay, so how do we find this distance? Or we can use sine rule. We can also use cosine rule, although I prefer sine rule. But you need to know what the angle here is. Okay, so how can we find that angle? Well, you know that that's angle x, by the way. You know that angle x plus 93 degrees plus this angle theta, our theta is 19.4, is equal to 180, because they are angles in a triangle. When you add them up, they will give us 180 degrees. 180 degrees. So x is equal to 180 minus 112.4 degrees. So that's 67.6. So angle x is 67.6 degrees. So we can use sine rule. So this is our second part of the question. Okay, so we can say sine x over x, that is this angle divided by the side that is opposite it, is equal to sine, let's use p over p. So we have sine x is sine 67.6 over x is equal to sine 93 degrees over 180. 180 is the side opposite it. So x is 180 times sine 67.6 divided by sine 93 degrees. So if you punch that in your calculator, that will give me 166.64 meters. But we're asked to leave our answer to 3 significant figures. So this would be 167 meters. So that's the answer. Oof, this was quite long. But good news is that you don't have to solve this question in the exam, because you have the liberty to choose the questions you want to solve. Okay. Question 12. We have polygons and we have mensuration. So A is on polygons and B is on mensuration. Okay. So what does the question on polygons say? Two regular polygons P and Q are such that the number of sides of P is twice the number of sides of Q. So they are regular polygons. It means that all their sides have equal lengths. Okay, all the sides are equal. So the number of sides that Q has, let's call that n. Then the number of sides that P has is twice of that, so that's 2n. Okay. The difference between the exterior angle of P and Q is 45 degrees. Find the number of sides. So let's say the exterior angle of Q is, let's call that E. So the exterior angle of P will be E minus 45 because they said the difference between them is 45 degrees. Okay. So they said find the number of sides of P. Wow, this would be quite long. This will be quite long. But let's start by finding the sum of interior angles in each of the polygon. Okay, so the sum of interior angles in a polygon is 2n minus 4 times 90 degrees. Okay, so for polygon Q, n is n, so we have 2n minus 4 times 90, and if we expand that's 180n minus 360. Then for P, n for P is 2n, so that's 2 times 2n minus 4 times 90 degrees, which is 4n minus 4 times 90, and that will give us 360n. Minus 360. So this is the sum of interior angles, when you add up all the interior angles in each of the polygon, this is what you get. So let's find each interior angle. So each interior angle in each of this polygon is going to be the sum of interior angles divided by number of sides. Okay, sum of interior angles per number of sides. So for Q, our sum of interior angles is 180n minus 360. Number of sides for Q is n. You can see it here. It is n. So 180n divided by n, and that is equal to 180 minus 360 over n. Then for P, the sum of the sides is 360n minus 360, and the number of sides is 2n. So this is equal to 180 minus 180 over n. When I was going through the mark scheme, I saw that the comment there was that many students did not attempt this question, and I now understand why. Because it's too long. I would not do it. I would not do it if I were in the exam hall. I'll find something else to do. Then now that we know each interior angle, we can find the exterior angle. How, you might ask? Well, in any regular polygon or any polygon at all, okay, each interior angle plus each exterior angle will give you 180 degrees, so they are supplementary. Okay, so let's check for Q. What's the interior angle in Q? That's 180 minus 360 over n, each of them. Okay, plus the exterior angle for Q is E. That will give us 180 degrees. So we can say E is equal to, that will give us 360 over n, because 180 on this side will cancel out 180 on the other side. When you bring this term here to the other side, you have 360 over n. Then for P, interior angle for P, that's 180 minus 180 over n. The exterior angle for P is E minus 45. Oof. And that's equal to 180 degrees. Let me just highlight this. We're almost done with the question. So let's make E the subject of the formula. E is equal to 45 plus 180 over n. Again, 180 here will cancel out 180 here. If you take minus 45 to the other side, it becomes 45. If you take minus 180 over n to the other side, it becomes plus 180 over n. So we have two values or two expressions for E. Okay, so E is 360 over n. E is also 45 plus 180. So it means that 360 over n is equal to plus 180 over n. So so 45 is equal to 180 over n. N is 180 over 45, which is 4. So now we know what n is. So let's go back to the question. We're to find the number of sides of P, and P is 2n. Okay, P is 2n, so let's complete that. So P is equal to 2n, which is 2 times 4, and that is 8. So P has 8 sides. It means that P is an octagon. And Q has 4 sides, so Q is a quadrilateral, but we don't know what kind of quadrilateral, so you can't exactly. Oh wait, it's a regular quadrilateral. All 4 sides are equal, so that is a square. So this is quite long, very long. Oops. Then question B, mensuration. The area of a semicircle is 32 pi centimeter squared. Find, in terms of pi, the circumference of the semicircle. Okay. Area of the semicircle is 32 pi. I want to find the circumference. So first of all, let me show you what a semicircle would look like. Okay. So the area of a semicircle is obviously half of the area of a circle, because a semicircle is half of a circle. So if the area of a circle is pi r squared, area of a semicircle is what? Half of that. Okay, half of that. So it means that pi r squared over 2, which is the area of a semicircle, is equal to 32 pi. So let's find r. Pi r squared is equal to 64 pi. Pi cancels pi. R squared is equal to 64. R is the square root of 64. So it means that the radius of our semicircle is 8 centimeters. So now we have to calculate the circumference of the semicircle. Now, a semicircle is similar to a circle, but there's one key difference. The circumference of a semicircle includes 2 parts. Okay? That is the curved part, this curved part here, and the straight part. So I think students might forget that this straight part. Okay, so you have to add up those 2 sides. The curved part is 2 pi r over 2, because in a circle, a complete circle, the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, right? So if we were to just find half of that, which is from here to here, okay, that's half of it. That would be 2 pi r over 2. Okay, that's the curved part of our semicircle. Now the straight part, if you can guess it, is the diameter of this circle. Okay, the straight part is the diameter of the circle from here to here. That's the diameter d. And then you know that the diameter is 2 times the radius. So this will give us pi r plus 2r. We're to find this area in terms of pi. So do not substitute your value for pi. Our r is 8. So this is 8 pi plus 16. So that's the circumference of the semicircle, centimeters. All right. So that's that about question 12. If you know you cannot like solve question 12 or a particular question in the exam hall, there will always be another one you can do. Okay, so do not stress yourself. Find something else to do. Last question, yay. Question 13 is on circle geometry and mensuration. Of course, it's the first part that is on circle geometry. The second part is on mensuration. Let's start with circle geometry. In the diagram above, PQRS are points on the circle with center O. Okay? QR is parallel to OS. When you see those two lines like this, it means that the lines are parallel. So QR is parallel to OS. This is line QR. Okay, this is line QR from Q to R. This is line OS from O to S, and you can see that they are parallel. QOR is angle QOR is 2M. This is angle QOR. Okay, that's 2M. And angle QPR is N. This is angle QPR. Angle SOR is 54 degrees. Okay. Find the values of M and N. Ooh. Okay. Find the values of M and N. So let's start. M and N. Well, just by looking at where I have M and where I have N, I can already think of a theorem to use. And that theorem is called angles at center. What does the theorem state? It states that the angle subtended by a segment at the center, so the angle at the center of the circle, of course, is equal to 2 times the angle subtended by the same segment at the circumference. So in short, angle at center is equal to 2 times angle at circumference. Okay, so what's the angle at the center in this our circle? That is 2m in this case, subtended by that segment. That's 2m. This is the segment I'm talking about. That's 2m. So I have 2m here. Okay, and then the angle at the circumference subtended by the same segment. This is the same segment. This is still the same segment we're talking about. Okay, and that angle is this angle N here. So it means that 2m, angle 2m is equal to angle 2 times N. Okay, so 2m is equal to 2n, and if you divide both sides by 2, this is weird, but m is equal to n. That's interesting. M is equal to n. So we just need to find one of them. We need to know what m is or what n is, and you have your answer. Let's continue. Okay, so we're given this information that QR and OR and OS, they are parallel lines. What can we deduce from that? I can actually make out alternate angles. So this angle QRO, or let's call it OQR, this angle here is actually 54 degrees. It is equal to this angle here because they are alternate. Remember when you have two parallel lines, and then there's a transversal that cuts them like this, okay? The angle here is equal to the angle here. So it's the same thing in this case. This 54 is equal to this other 54. So they are alternate angles. So we can say that angle QRO is equal to angle SOR because they are alternate angles. Okay, so QRO is equal to angle SOR because they are alternate. So QRO is 54 degrees. So we are very close to finding our answer. Well, you know that Or you can see that OR is a radius of the circle because it's coming from the center of the circle to the circumference, OR. Then OQ is also a radius, okay, from the circle to the circumference. So it means that this angle here will also be 54 degrees. Why? Because you have two radii. So you're going to have an isosceles triangle, and base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal. So this angle OQR is equal to angle QRO. Okay, so you can just state it there. The angle OQR and then why are they equal? Because they are base angles of an isosceles triangle. So we are very close to finding our answer. 54 degrees, 2m, they are all angles in a triangle. So we can say that 54 plus 54 plus 2m is equal to 180 degrees. That's sum of angles in a triangle. Okay, 2m plus 108 is 180 degrees. M is 180 minus 108 over 2. That is 36 degrees. So it means that angle N is also 36 degrees. So M is equal to N. They are both 36 degrees. Okay, that's good. Question B says question B says the length of a rectangle is 4 centimeters more than the width. Let's draw a rectangle. This is the width. This is the length. Okay, so this is the rectangle. So the length of the rectangle is 4 centimeters more than the width. So this is the width here. Okay, this is the width, and then this is the length. And we're told that length is 4 more than, that is, you have to add 4 to the width to get your length. So this is 4 plus W. If the perimeter is 40 centimeters, find the area. Okay, so what's the perimeter of a rectangle? Perimeter is equal to 2 into bracket length plus breadth. Breadth is also the same thing as width. Okay, so that's 2 into bracket. Our length is 4 plus W. Our breadth is W. Perimeter is 40. So 40 is equal to 2 into bracket 4 plus 2W. Divide both sides by 2. 20 is 4 plus 2W. And if you solve for W, W will be 8 centimeters. Okay, so we have our width. So it means that our length is 4 plus 8, and that is 12 centimeters. So what's the area of this rectangle? Area of a rectangle is length times breadth. Okay, and that's 12 times 8, which is 96 centimeters squared. So that's how to solve this question. It's rather simple. I would have actually solved this question 13 if I were taking the exam. It's easy compared to the last question we did. Okay, so that's that. Thank you for watching till the end if you did. Bye bye.